Well, artistically, the world's been a bit dull the last 3 or 4 months, what with people not being able to perform in public, etc. And Chris and I were watching a television programme called Grayson Perry's Art Club, in which the famous artist Grayson Perry went through a load of artistic creativity processes and showcased some things that people had sent in. And he had a different theme each week, and it seemed as though people were being able to send in their work based on whatever theme it was. And so I looked everywhere to see if we could send in something, but no, it was apparently a fait accompli. So I thought, sod you, Grayson Perry, we will have our own Greensocks Art Club. Because we've been talking about doing art for years. When we retire, we're going to use up those watercolour paints that we've bought from charity shops and stuck in the dark corner of the cupboard for such time as we might get into the mood to use them. And we thought we're never going to do it unless we actually use a bit of discipline and challenge each other to do it. So we started that, and every week on a Friday morning, we've taken turns to challenge each other with a specific theme, and we've produced a little piece of artwork. It's all a bit rudimentary, I guess, because we haven't been doing art for years. We've got a collection of assorted pencils. They're mostly HB, and rubbers don't work nowadays. It's really weird. When I was at school, you used to be able to get rubbers made from rubber and they would rub things out, and now you get some kind of plastic stuff that only smears the paper. So you can draw outlines, but you can't actually get rid of them, which is an interesting challenge in itself. And then the watercolour paint is obviously the sort that you get in sets that people get for Christmas and then keep for years and give away to the charity shop, and we pick them up at various times. And so you don't get to choose what colours you have whatever's in the box. And Chris has a collection of brushes, some of which are more squishy than others. Interesting assortment. So we've been using what we have and seeing what we come up with. And this is what we've got to so far. The first challenge was a scene from prehistory, and Chris chose a Viking hall where they're telling Norse sagas. I tried to sketch with watercolours, out of my imagination, a mountain track where people might go hunting. But my imagination isn't very good, unfortunately. I turned it round to see if that looked any better, but I don't know. It was a bit of a splodge, to be honest. The next thing was a portrait, and Chris picked a little photo of me that I took when I was young and beautiful, ha. And I picked a photo of him fiddling about in the garden, setting stones into the path. His hair really did look like that because he hadn't had it cut for 3 months. So I say anyway. Then we did a landscape. Chris sat in the garden and painted the pond and the trellises. And mine, I did it from a photo, but I just couldn't get the watercolour to do what I wanted. That thing on the right is a hedge, but it just came out a bit scruffy looking. Disappointing, really. Then we did a seascape. That was Chris's idea. He likes seascapes, and that's his effort. I don't know where mine went. I can't find it at the moment. Next up was the 3-object challenge. 3 objects that mean a lot to you. Guess what? We both chose books. Mine is a paperback and a pot of tea, and just tucked inside the paperback is a bean because I love to grow vegetables. I was quite pleased with the colours. So the next thing was a building, and Chris painted our shed out of the back door. I chose a photo of a hobbit hole from New Zealand. That was challenging with all the shapes in it. Next off was a flower or botanical drawing, and Chris not only did the flower, he did the vase as well, and the shadow, which he was quite pleased with. I just set out a flower. That's a pink from the garden. And the last one that we've done recently was workmen, chosen by Chris. His workman, I love the clouds in this picture, although the workman looks as though he's hanging for dear life from the top of the pole. Mine is a stock photo from the internet of some people in a lift with some plans. What I find fascinating about doing something like this is obviously not that we're creating great art. We're not. We are spending perhaps an hour at most, an hour and a half on each project. They're just little sketches really, and because of our lack of skill, we're quite frequently making mistakes. But what they do for us is they transport us into another mental space. It's like you're totally absorbed in this colour and shape, expression, experience. And even though it doesn't last long, afterwards you go back and you look at it and you think, oh, I made that, that's really good. So I hope we continue for a while. I think it's going to be my turn to choose next week's challenge. If anybody watching this has any ideas what they'd like to see us have a go at, please make a comment below, and you never know, we might do it. See you later. Bye.